From the bonds of slavery in Egypt, a nation was called forth. Led by Moses, the Israelites began a journey promised by God, a journey to a new home. For generations, they had toiled under the oppressive hand of Pharaoh, their cries reaching up to the heavens. In response, a series of 10 devastating plagues were unleashed upon Egypt, each one a powerful demonstration of divine might against the stubbornness of a king. Finally, with Pharaoh's will broken, the Israelites departed in a great and hopeful multitude, leaving behind the only world they had ever known. Their path led them to the shores of the Red Sea, where the pursuing Egyptian army cornered them. It was here that a breathtaking miracle unfolded. The waters parted, creating a path of dry land between towering walls of water, allowing the Israelites to cross to safety before the sea crashed down upon their enemies. They entered the vast and unforgiving wilderness. For 40 years, this desert would be their home and their crucible, a time of testing, law, and transformation. The journey through the Sinai Peninsula was arduous, a seemingly endless expanse of rock and sand that tested their endurance and their faith. It was in this wilderness, upon the cloud-shrouded peak of Mount Sinai, that Moses received the law from God, inscribed on 2 stone tablets. These commandments would become the foundation of their identity and their covenant. Daily life was a lesson in dependence. They learned to rely on the miraculous provision of manna from heaven and followed the divine presence that guided them. Amidst the struggles, they constructed the tabernacle, a sacred portable sanctuary that symbolized God's dwelling among them, a constant reminder of His presence on their long sojourn. As they neared the promised land, their path was barred by hostile kings and fortified cities. The generation that left Egypt had passed. Now, a new generation of warriors, led first by Moses and then by Joshua, would have to fight for their inheritance. Their route took them north, along the eastern side of the Dead Sea, directly into the territory of powerful Amorite rulers. The formidable King Sihon of Heshbon and the giant King Og of Bashan stood as intimidating obstacles, their armies ready to defend their lands. Yet, in decisive battles, the Israelites, empowered by their divine mandate, conquered these kingdoms. Their victories secured a critical foothold and proved their strength as a unified force. Before they could proceed, Moses ascended Mount Nebo. From its summit, he gazed upon the vast expanse of Canaan, the land promised to his people, a land he himself would never enter. Under Joshua's command, they finally crossed the Jordan River. The first great obstacle was the impenetrable city of Jericho, but its walls would not fall to an army, but to an act of faith. The waters of the Jordan miraculously parted for them, just as the Red Sea had for their parents, and they stepped into Canaan. Before them stood Jericho, its massive walls seeming to defy any assault. Following a divine and unusual battle plan, the Israelite army, led by priests carrying the sacred Ark of the Covenant, marched in silent procession around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they circled it 7 times. At Joshua's command, the priests sounded their trumpets, and the entire nation let out a mighty shout. In an astonishing display of divine power, the fortified walls of Jericho crumbled into dust. This victory was a sign of what was to come, a powerful opening to their conquest. Standing amidst the ruins, the Israelites looked out over the fertile hills and valleys of Canaan, their journey's end and their new beginning.